All right, so we are back again with another episode. If you are watching this, make sure that you like and subscribe because the guest that I have next to me, she's absolutely incredible. I hope you're ready for this one. All right, so I have with me right now Georgia. Georgia, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really good, actually. It's been a really good day, really good day. So let's just dive into this year. I want to just hit this from the ground up. We are on a timer. So this is going to be the hardest hitting podcast that we've ever done.
Okay.
So you can't mess up.
No pressure.
I love that. So I know a lot about you, but the people watching may not know you. So let's explain who you are in a few words. Tell them who you are. What is it that you do? Who are you?
So I come from sporty background, and around 3 years ago set up a football coaching business, to inspire, empower young girls to play football and fulfill their potential.
I love that. What is your name though?
No, you can't do like that.
Yeah, it happens all the time. To be fair, when people tell me to introduce myself, I'm always like, "Yeah, I'm a coach," and they're like, "Well, what's your name?" "Oh, yeah, my name's Sam." I find it really hard sometimes to talk about myself. But yeah, what is your name, Georgia?
Georgia.
Okay, so your name is Georgia. How old are you, Georgia?
22.
Mad. So 3 years ago, you set up your own business. So you were what, 19?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
Well, just out of curiosity, what was everyone else who was your age, who were also female, doing at the age of 19?
It come at a time where I had to separate myself from probably a lot of people who I thought were my friends growing up. And I think I just realised I wanted different, and I wanted more from life. And then I had a vision, had potential to go and fulfil that, and I did. So it come with a lot of sacrifice, missing nights out, weekends away,
holidays,
all of that. But I knew I had a vision and I knew where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So
it's massive. That is at the age of 19 to see so clearly. It's so powerful. As I said, for me at the age of 19, what was I doing? Yo, we were out, bro, innit? We were out, we were active. Listen, motorway active. That's what we were on. So to hear that you were focused at the age of 19 is extremely inspiring. So hats off to you from the get-go. You set the level, you set the tone from the jump. So let's just keep this going through. How did you get into that?
I'd say I've always had a strong work ethic, and working is always something I've done since I've been, I think, 15, volunteering to do coaching. I'd give up Saturdays, weekends, weekdays to go and educate myself, educate my football knowledge. And then started working at a few clubs. So I worked at Birmingham City with their foundation programs and then their girls RTC program. Then I went into West Brom and I worked in their pre-academy with the boys. So 6, 7 and 8, shadowing, and then I started leading on some 60 sessions. And then when I was 19, I looked back at my own kind of childhood with football and how I realised there was an opportunity for myself, and I thought, why not try and give back to my local community?
Create it.
Yeah, that's something I'm big on, is helping others, and community is one of my values. So to bring people together, I thought, how can I do it? And I thought, there's not just going to be me that's lost out on opportunities through football and not having, inclusive environments to go and play. So when I was 19, I hired out a sports hall every week, £60 for 3 hours, used to have 2 goals for 6 months, used to go home, cry to my mum, say, it's not working, I'm not going to do it. And she said, George, you've got to keep going. And I did, and 3 years later, I've built a community of empowering young girls. So
it's massive. That it's the level that it takes, out of all of it, the one word that sticks out is consistency. And that's something. Who has been consistent in your life?
I'd say my mum, biggest consistent person from the get-go, where I tell my mum everything and she's always got an answer, or she'll always find a way. And there's been times that she's had to drag me out of bed some mornings when I can't be bothered and I felt like giving up and, Mum, this isn't working. Like, I might have to stop my business, might this. No, Georgia, like there's always a way. And I think having someone like that in your life
corner
is so
is
important.
so
Yeah,
important.
whether it's just that one person, I think we all need that.
Everyone needs that level of accountability, support, that network, like that strength that is. Who for your mum is consistent? Because there's a pattern. When we look at stuff, we have to follow a pattern. So who for your mum is consistent?
See, my mum doesn't have any family. It's just my mum and us children, me, my sister, my brother. And I think she has so much love to give to us because she was never shown that growing up. And for me, that is a big reason why I work so hard. And I think that's what it is in life. I think sometimes it's finding your why. And I think when people don't have a why or a purpose, it can become clouded and you don't have a direction. And I think for me, my why and why I will work so hard and I'll sacrifice sleep, not eating sometimes, I would do this and that is because I want to give back to my mum and I want to create a life for her.
That why is so deep.
And yeah, and I think she got brought up by her nan and that was a huge role in her life, advocate. And I think for myself, that relationship I've got with my mum is unbreakable. And yeah, she's my best friend and I'm so grateful and, you know, to have her. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I really, really love that. I love that you found that. Not even found, I love that you've had that consistency from so young and it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we can talk about numerous people who have had seasonal relationships with, and that seasonal relationship is not good enough. There's a saying that I heard at a very young age: true value is determined by real sacrifice, and you are able to give up your Saturdays or your Friday nights to sacrifice it to go onto a course, to educate yourself, so that when you are on that pitch helping out that 9-year-old young version of yourself, Georgia, you're seeing not only yourself but you're seeing the future because of what you have sacrificed today. So powerful. Did you at your younger age, did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
I think, yeah, in terms of giving back to my local community and working with younger people is something that I've always had a passion for. And I think you can't sleep on passions. And I think I've always put in what I can to try and help other people. And that's just something I hold close to my heart. Like every day, I'll wake up and I stand by 4 letters. And we had a motivational speaker come in and he said he lives his day by 4 letters and it's hope. So HOP, and that's help one person every day. And I'll wake up and I'll try and do that. And if I can do that, like I'll go to sleep much better on the evening. So yeah.
Help one person every day. Never heard that before. Live by hope. I love that. I love that. I love that. I'm probably going to use that. Help one person every day. Mad. Mad, that is. It's one of the moments where, you know, words that were created and then you can make it fit into your own life in such a powerful way. And when I reflect on like what I do as a coach, like it's deeper than just the session. Like the session doesn't mean anything. It's have you left an impact? And that's why my brand is impact. Like, what are we doing for that person? And I feel like we're in a season now with people where they just want to be seen. They don't really want to do anything. Like even little things like I'm all for helping the homeless people. Like, and I'm all for, you know, giving to charities and doing the maddest things. But I feel like in this generation now, there's a lot of like trendy stuff that is like getting the camera out and just doing it for the sake of TikTok. Like, I don't know, man, that doesn't really sit well with me, man. Like, where is that passion gone? Where is that purpose? Where's that like heartless act gone? And I feel like that's sort of lost now in the world, man. Like, what's your views on that?
No, 100% get what you mean. I think we all fall into that trap of trying to live for social media at some point in our life. And I've gone through stages of even, you know, when you take a picture and you're using filters and all of this. Now, there's a time where I've been in that position and I work with, alongside doing my football coaching, I work as a mentor in schools, so helping young people, mental health, might be knife crime, might be teenage pregnancy. I work with young people, and I think for me, I think TikTok and COVID put together has had a real impact in these young people. And I think a lot of social media is fantasized, and especially working with young girls, that's what I'm seeing now. You have to be a certain size, or you have to, you know,
look a certain way.
To be kind of accepted. And I think going back to what you said, like as a coach, and I think that's what it is for me, regardless of the football. Yeah, I will make sure I design a session and get my outcomes out of that session,
But it's
what I
deeper
need
than
to.
that.
But some of these people that are coming to me are young girls that might not have that person, like I've said about my mum, in their life. They might not come from that background. Yeah. And if I can be that person to them, and to me, it's not just about being a coach, but it's about how can I impact you, or even if I'm seeing that girl for an hour a week, if that's something they can look forward to. And, you know, you're also mentoring them through sport. And I think that's where I find my fulfillment.
It's like that, like sport for you is a tool.
Yeah.
But if you remove the tool, you're still going to support them.
Yeah, no,
you know,
100%.
and that's definitely highlighted in the fact that you go into schools as well, you know, like obviously after schools you run your academy as well with football, etc. You know, I'm sure that I saw that. Didn't you go away? Like where did you go again, sorry?
Yeah, so start of the year I went to Abu Dhabi.
How did that happen? Like how did you come across that opportunity?
So it was middle of December. I was sent a message for a recruitment day at Manchester City to go and work out on their football programmes. So working with young people from 3 to 18. Went to the recruitment day. Was grateful to have been offered a 6-month contract. And yeah, within 2 weeks, I was on the plane and moving it up in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. So
what was it like being in Abu Dhabi?
It was different. I think I learnt a lot professionally and personally. And I think personally, I took a lot away. Moving away, whether it's 1 month, 6 months, a year, especially doing it on your own. And when you come home from work and you sat there in your apartment, all sounds great. George is living it up in Abu Dhabi. But when it's just yourself, I think mentally you've got to learn to be tough to
deal with that.
You know, be comfortable with being in your own company.
Do you feel that you are comfortable being in your own company?
Yeah, but I think it's took me a while to do that. And I think being comfortable on your own, and I think coming down to like understanding your values and who you are as a person. And sometimes all you have is yourself to rely on. And I found that being out there, like I feel like I've come back a lot maturer, and, you know, I've set goals for myself. I've done a vision board and my direction is so clear. And I'm so grateful for that trip, just being isolated and being on my own. I think sometimes you need that to recharge, come back. And I'm grateful that my business has took off to new levels since being back. So.
Massive, massive, massive. I know that we speak on like business, and like I'm a massive advocate for that because, like, you know, I love to see people doing good. But I want to talk personal as well with you. You know, like we've got half an hour on this and I want to hit business and personal. Yeah. So on your personal journey, like what work have you done for yourself to work on yourself? One of the biggest things that you've done so far is to remove yourself, isolate yourself. Yeah. Like that's a massive thing to do. What else have you done?
I think learning to be uncomfortable is something that I've definitely learned growing up, and still now. I do suffer with real bad anxiety, and people don't see that. Being a football coach or being so, you know, face on with the public and, you know, having to put yourself on social media, I think it's easy to think I'm confident and, yeah, George is doing well, George is doing this. But there's the other side to it as well. When I was 12 and having to go counselling because I wouldn't leave my room, or I wouldn't leave my house because I was caring what people think, or I'd have a fear if I went out something would happen to me. Couldn't even go in the back garden on my own and play football. Like, always had to have someone, my trusted adults, around me. And I think it come to a point where I knew I couldn't live like that no more, and mentally it was really affecting me, like not going out and achieving what I wanted to because I was scared. And I think I still have anxiety now, but it's the way I deal with it and the way I react to situations and control it. And for me, that is putting myself in uncomfortable situations, whether that's doing a podcast, whether that's, you know, running a camp with over 40 girls and being responsible for that. But the fulfillment I get after that, and my small win that I get for that, do you know what I mean? That pushes me, okay, Georgia, what's next?
That's what you chase,
But I will not be held back by fear. And I think that's something that I'm confident on now is, you know, failing. And I think people, especially setting up your own business, and I think mindset is big as well. And I think people think that, say, a fixed mindset, people will think that success comes from talent, and you need to be the most talented person to run a business or, do this and that. But I think with a growth mindset, yes, talent matters, but it's not enough. It's the hard work, it's the discipline, it's, facing these challenges and feeling
Head on.
uncomfortable. Yeah. And I think working in a competitive industry, I've had to have all of that to be able to strive and succeed. And yeah, anxiety don't just go away. Depression don't just go away.
How do you deal with that then? Like, how are you dealing with anxiety and depression? Like right now, how are you dealing with that? Like, what is your coping mechanism?
I'd say a big coping mechanism for me is I work with the public and I work in big environments and I'm around a lot of people. And now I'm comfortable enough that if I feel overwhelmed, I will go and take 5 minutes out. I was at an event the other week and, there was, say, 100 people there, and I was okay to leave for 10 minutes, sit in my car, and as stupid as I might look or I might feel, I'm okay to accept that I need that 10 minutes to just,
feed yourself back again,
reset my social battery or go again. And I think I've never been on medication for anxiety. I've been the doctors and they've offered counselling and I was under CAMS, but I've kind of just tried to rise through it the best I can. And, I believe it is mental. I can wake up one day and think, what, I'm not going to do that because I feel anxious or this. And that's not saying that it's not real, because I know that people do suffer. For me, working in the industry, I couldn't do that. I had to be out there, and, I would have had panic attacks and things like that before, but you learn from them and you come back and you just got to keep going. And
do you have like any other coping mechanisms? Like I know that you train, I know that you're on a better path with your food, but is there any other coping mechanisms?
Fitness is a big one as well.
How big is that for you?
Massive in terms of mentally. Before I wouldn't even go to a gym or wouldn't do a certain exercise because I'd feel stupid or wouldn't use a piece of equipment. And now I'm comfortable, and I think that's all come with the growth, because I always think kind of what is the worst that's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? And that's how I've got to look at things. And I think now I train regularly, eating cleaner, drinking water, and I think it's all helped make me a better person. And, if my job is full on and I absolutely love it, but I don't really have rest days. It is a 7-day week that I'm doing every week. And I think having that half an hour space to go and run or an hour in the gym helps mentally, or a Saturday boot camp, you know what I mean?
Yo, shout out to Saturday. Listen, if you really want to train, you call yourself fit and have joy. I ain't even shouting you out because I don't want no more people. But now it's nice to really see this part of the journey, because I knew you halfway through at the beginning of your journey as well, and I knew how important it was for you to take that next hurdle. I've seen you cry, I've seen you have your bad days. Do you know what I mean? But it's really, really, really nice to see you have your great days now. And I'm really excited about the next few steps for you, because if you can, you jumped. Listen, let me just remind you who you are. Okay, at the age of 15, you were working. At the age of 19, you never said hello club life. You said pause for a bit. I'm gonna set up my own business. Not only did you set up your own business, you set up your business to help the community. At the age of 19. At the age of 22, you're next to me, and you've already told me that this year you've already been in Abu Dhabi on your own.
Yeah, and I probably haven't seen it like that, because since 15, all I've knew is work, and I've been so locked in with achieving and wanting more out of life and creating stability.
Even that, 15 is such a young age. Well, what were you running away from at 15? Because, at 15, what's the new, what would you be doing at 15? You're going out with your friends, but you must have been, I'm assuming that you were running away from something. What was it? What was it?
I'd say working from 15, I fell into it as a distraction from things that were going on at home, family things. And yeah, I felt I needed to be out doing something, keeping my mind busy and not facing the problems that were there. And I think that's something that I've learned later on in life, that you can't hide,
can't
and you
hide
can't
it.
run away from problems.
It's still going to be there.
That's what I mean. And sometimes you do have to face it and, you know, try your best to see the positives from the negatives. And yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
It's a massive thing that isn't, you know, when we go back to like coping mechanisms, like I know that you read, you know, you spoke to me about this before as well. Like what books are you reading now? Or what books have you read in the last 2 months?
So yeah, I'm quite invested in self-help books, whether that's personally, professionally. The Diary of a CEO book I'm reading at the moment.
How deep into that have you got so far? Is it halfway, quarter?
So yeah, before I went away, I started it and then forgot to take it with me to Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, just starting that up now. And yeah, I think having listened to other people's stories, you realise you're not alone in things, like especially the podcasts that I watch. And I think I need that. That's something I need to think, okay, you're relatable to me, or I'm not the only one. Because I think sometimes we can
Isolate.
pity in ourselves and isolate ourselves. And that's something that, you know, I hold deep is podcasts and reading self-help books, self-belief books, because self-belief is definitely something that I've lacked. And I think everyone that knows me on a real level will say, if only you believed in yourself more, or, you know, believe you can and you will. Stop caring what other people think. And I think that's something that's I've definitely overcame as I've got older. And even running my own business, you don't have time to care what other people think.
You don't have time. You definitely are right. Like you have to pretty much like wear that mask.
Yeah.
And it's something that we spoke about as well. Like we're both coaches, and at times it's very hard. It's a safe place, isn't it? Like I am in a safe place when I am Impact Coach Sam.
Yeah.
When I am Sam, there was a point where I didn't even know who Sam was. I was so invested into coaching. And I'm sure that you are the same. It's a common thing with coaches and PTs and people who help other people, that we almost forget what it feels like to ask ourselves, how are we? You know, and you know, it's a massive thing as we conclude with this podcast. Like, how old are you now? You're 22 years of age, yeah?
Yeah.
So what would you tell a 15-year-old version of yourself right now? Like, you're 22 years of age now. You've got a bit more experience. You've got a lot more life experience. You've grown a lot as a person. You've done a lot of character building. You've learned a lot of life lessons. What advice would you give the 15-year-old version of yourself, the one that's running away from problems instead of facing them full on? What advice would you give that person?
I think, especially working with young people now, understand some of the issues and struggles they're going through, like at the moment. And I just say that, you know, when I tell them life isn't meant to be easy, we're all going to experience struggles, we're all going to experience battles. But one thing my nan said to me the other day, she was like, life and the world is beautiful, but it's the people in it that can ruin it. And I think that's why I try and be a good person. And going back to what I said earlier about, you know, help one person every day. And I've actually said that to the young people I work with. And I say, they can be negative towards life and ambitions. And I'm not going to achieve this because I don't come from this background, or because I don't come from money, and I tell them you can. And I've been where you are. I haven't had thousands invested in me to start a business. It's come off an idea and I've acted on it. But I think I have these conversations with young people. I want to be rich. I want to be a business owner. But you have to act on it. And I think we all want, but we have to get.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And get to it. And I think, yeah, life's going to come with struggles. It's going to come with anxieties. It's going to come with mental battles and, you know, mental health struggles. But you've just got to show up every day and give it your all. And if you've got a passion, just keep going and don't let no one tell you can't achieve. Believe you can and you will.
As you said, like a perfect way to wrap this up is hope. Help one person every day.
Yeah.
George, it's been an honor. Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Peace.